The Houston Texans have hired an offensive coordinator in Nick Caley. Wow, what a day to be a Houston Texans fan. This was the number one guy I think they interviewed. And I think a lot of people believe that as well. Certainly I believed it. He is the current Rams tight end coach and pass game coordinator, Nick Caley. He has just been officially hired per rap sheet. So, who is Nick Caley? Was this a good decision by the Texans? Let's get into it. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe for more daily Texans content, always making new content daily. So, Nick Caley coached at the college level for 10 years before becoming part of the Patriots staff in 2015. In 2017, he was promoted and became the tight end coach for the Patriots. And then on February 5th, 2017, he was the part of the Patriots staff that won the Super Bowl 51, when they beat the Atlanta Falcons 34-28, that crazy comeback win with Brady. Nick Caley was the tight ends coach, coaching Gronkowski. Sidebar, I think this is a really good hire because of his tight end experience. Our tight end room has a lot of bodies in there, but they don't seem to be difference makers. And I really think that's like a little nugget Nick Caley can provide as the offensive coordinator, being such a specialist on tight ends. Also, in the tight end position, you're focused on run blocking, pass blocking, catching, run. Like, the tight end position, requires a lot of skills that I think Nick Caley will be good at coaching, that are transferable to other positions as well, such as catching, blocking, all that stuff. So, again, great hire so far by the Texans. So he was promoted to the tight ends coach, and then yada, 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 yada. In 2020, he added on the title of being the team's fullback coach, in addition to retaining his position as a tight ends coach. So there's a little bit of backstory about his time with the Patriots. Now, on February 5th, 2023, Caley was hired as a tight ends coach by the Los Angeles Rams. In 2024, he added the title of pass game coordinator. So last year, he was the tight ends coach for the Rams. This year he added on the pass game coordinator. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a pretty thin-ish resume. He spent a lot of time coaching tight ends with the Patriots, but he's never called an offensive play in his career, and that is true. However, last year the Patriots wanted him as their offensive coordinator. They sent out an invite and they said, "Hey, we would love for you to become the New England Patriots offensive coordinator. And oh, by the way, here's $3 million." Nick Caley ultimately turned it down. Now, this is significant on two levels. The first being he turned down a lot of money to stay with McVay and learn from McVay. And if you know me, know anything about me, I'm a huge McVay guy. I really like the McVay system and tree. So he turns down the money. He turns down the offensive coordinator position on the New England Patriots. The second thing that's significant about that is the New England Patriots were thinking about drafting a quarterback. Obviously, they ended up doing so in Drake May. So the New England Patriots felt that Nick Caley was a good enough hire to support Drake May and kind of be there for him as a rookie quarterback and kind of show him the ropes, show him the ways. I know obviously he didn't start initially. There was the Jacoby Brissett situation, but I really like that one organization has pretty much vetted him and offered him a job, basically deciding that he's good enough to be the offensive coordinator for a rookie quarterback. And I think that speaks a lot. That speaks volumes about Nick Caley and what the Patriots thought about him. Certainly, there was his history with the Patriots that was already existing, but history aside, Caley still decided to turn it down, favoring his opportunity with the Rams. Now, keep in mind, when he received that offer, he was only the tight ends coach for the Rams. So, I mean, he turned down a substantial $3 million increase to stay with the Rams and learn more about their system. Now, the other aspect of Nick Caley that I really like is that Sean McVay speaks extremely highly of Nick Caley. Every time you hear him talk about Nick Caley, he says, he's a great weapon for us. He's just understands offenses. He's a smart guy. Like, Sean McVay really gives this guy his flowers as the pass game coordinator. And I think that's something to obviously keep in mind. Sean McVay being one of the best minds offensively and defensively in football, and my personal favorite, head coach at the NFL level, besides, of course, D'Amico Ryan. So that's kind of the backstory on Nick Caley. I think it is the best hire that the Houston Texans could have made, given everyone they interviewed. And I also feel like the timing was really right for Nick Caley, obviously turning down an interview last year and wanting the offensive role this year. So again, really excited for Nick Caley and what he can bring to this offense. I think that is absolutely huge for the Texans, and I am just glad to have a McVay guy in the system that can kind of bring over what he's been learning from Sean McVay's offense and use it with our offense. And so I know I've spoken really highly of this McVay offense, but I kind of want to just give you some little nuggets about why it's so good. So Sean McVay took over the LA Rams in 2017, and he went from 32nd in scoring to first in scoring in the NFL pretty much overnight. And again, they have finished in top 11 of scoring 5 times and top 11 in yards 6 times during McVay's reign. So from 2017 to 2024, you do the math, they finished top 11 in scoring 5 times and top 11 in yards 6 times. Now, the Rams pretty much always rank as a top 10 offense in most categories, including 8th and 3rd down conversions, 4th in red zone scoring rate, 8th in points per offensive drive, and 7th in net yards per passing attempt. And again, LA's pretty much managed to do this without spending like significant amounts of money. They didn't have a first round pick. They had the oldest quarterback in the NFC, a 5th round running back, 5th round receiver, Cooper Kupp's missing time. Like, this is not just a stacked team that has the highest paid players everywhere. This is a team that I think really benefits from a great system. And so in this article I'm reading from, the expert kind of asks McVay, well, how do you do this? And McVay basically says that he uses the other team's reactions to modern trends against them. Basically, he thinks about how let's say, defense, for example, would react to his play, his modern equivalent of a play, and then he flips the rules of the play to where that their method like ends up hurting them. I mean, that's what I'm getting from this article. That's what this expert said that he said when he interviewed him. So it's basically like, and I quote, "You can steal a chessboard and chess pieces, but you can't steal the chess player." So McVay is a genuine chess player, while I guess the rest of the league is playing checkers. Now, to kind of get into some more tangibles about his offenses, this is coming from a quote from McVay. I'm going to kind of paraphrase it, but he stays in 11 personnel as a control feature. He wants to control as much as he can. 11 personnel gives them consistent looks. He forces other teams' nickel defenses to play in a manner that is not designed to combat in 11 personnel. So McVay's in 11 personnel 93 to 95% of the time. Rest of the NFL is in it 66 to 70%. Kind of some other stats, but the Rams pass 55% of the time out of 11 personnel, and McVay is hiding within the overall data compared to the rest of the NFL. So they're middle of the pack in terms of run-pass balance, but out of 11 personnel, they're leading the pack in running. I'll also add that most teams pass out of 11 personnel, at least according to this article. So they're trained to stop the pass when they see 11 personnel, but the Rams still run it 45% of the time out of 11 personnel. That doesn't sound like that much. 45% of the time they're running out of 11 personnel, but it's number 1 in the league. So some more characteristics of this offense: compressed formations, pre-snap motions out of compressed formations. Basically, he gets defenses to tip their hand and confuses them enough to give the Rams an advantage on different plays. This has also helped Kyren Williams, obviously, great running back in his own right, but he's led the NFL with 15 touchdowns in only 12 games. So that's kind of a quick synopsis on the McVay offense, the 11 personnel, the different traits for it. I hope we can expect to see a lot of that from Nick Caley. Obviously, it's going to be a while before we can even think about comparing Nick Caley to Sean McVay. And this is, again, by no means a perfect candidate. There's no play calling experience, and he hasn't really been the top offensive mind in an offense before like he will be now, since, DeMeco's obviously defensive minded. And so you can definitely still have your doubts about Nick Caley. I just, I love the McVay offense. I really think that he could be an incredible weapon. And if everything goes right, you're hoping he gets a coaching job next year. You're not hoping for that, but you're hoping that we can reach that level of success offensively with Nick Caley at the helm. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, but let me know what your thoughts are. Was this the guy you wanted? Nick Caley, never called plays before, tight end coach, assistant to the passing game coordinator, but a McVay guy under that McVay tree, and McVay speaks extremely highly of him. So that's really all I got for this video. I guess one thing I'll add is obviously DeMeco and Nick and the Texans staff interviewed everyone. and felt like he was the best decision. And I guess that also kind of factors into a topic in the last video of how much do you trust this Texans offensive staffing unit? Do you trust them to pick the right candidate? And do you think Nick Caley was the right candidate? So that's all I got for this video, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one, man. Peace out.